All right, here we go. Hello, everybody. If it's Saturday and we're on the air, then that must mean they did another Warhammer reveal preview show thing. And in fact, they did. And today, Tom is vacationing with his family and a loser, so I decided to upgrade. And I'm joined by Mr. Anthony Polcastro. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm good. We're gonna break down everything from the reveal show today, and we're gonna talk about not just what we saw, because you saw it too. But we're gonna talk about what we think this portents, this heralds for the future of the Mortal Realms. Because I think there's a lot of big things that they actually revealed here.
Yeah.
Like they basically, if you reread between the lines, told us the next 18 months of what's happening in this game. That's my thought.
Maybe a 3.0, maybe not. Maybe a
Mm-hmm.
slight reboot of some stuff. Who knows?
We'll see. All right. So overall, before we get into the exact things, were you excited about this? What'd you think? Did you see enough? Did you not see enough? What's your take on the whole thing?
I mean, is it ever enough? No. I want to see everything now, but that's not a good thing either because then you're just sitting around waiting. Because if they released everything at once, that'd be a giant, mess. So that would spread out. But I think they showed us a good amount of stuff. I don't think you really can complain about the amount of stuff that was shown.
Yeah, I always want more. You're right. Like it's not, it's one of those things where I'm not going to apologize for the fact that I just want to see everything and all the cool stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, what I don't know, I don't want as bad. So there's kind of one of those things that I don't have to suffer through, say, 6 months of knowing that the Sons of Behemoth exist and I still don't have these giants in my hand. You know,
Or that you could have half your army if you want to play Lumineth, and the other half will come,
two
two,
months
3 months
later.
down the road.
Yes.
Enjoy. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that being said, I thought everything we saw was good. I wish they had showed us a couple more models from part of this. I'll show you the thing that we'll get into the thing that I mean. That being said, I am excited for what I hope this means, and we'll see it because it doesn't necessarily mean it. But I'm real excited, Anthony, real excited
Yeah.
for a
Me too.
particular thing in this. You might know what it is. But I'm super excited about a couple of things. There's maybe one figure in particular that grabbed my
Oh, hit me,
attention.
daddy. That's what he's yelling as he sees it on the screen. Oh, hit me, daddy.
That's pretty much, yes. So you're not that wrong. All right, let's get into it. Okay. So I'm going to fill up the screen here with the preview show. We're going to make that a little smaller. We're going to bring that over this. Boop, you go away. Yes, that's fine. Cookies are okay. For the love of all things holy.
Just
Okay.
give me the cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Give me them cookies. All right. So let's get into it. Here we go. Scrolling through. We're just going to scroll down. First off, Horus Heresy stuff. Okay. Great.
Sure.
These dudes look neat. Cool
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
That is
whatever.
the beginning and end of my thoughts on the Horus Heresy. It is a game. If I don't care about 40k, I really don't care about 10,000 years before 40k. So sorry.
Yeah, they're cool models. If you like that stuff, great, good for you. Whatever. I mean, it doesn't appeal to me, but I
Hey.
think that model with him swinging the sword down on like the peasants
The
coming
lion.
to get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, but I'll never buy it or paint it, so I don't care.
Sure. If they ever put out some really neat 40k version of the lion that's like whatever he looks like now, that could be cool. Anyway, all right, I'm sure that a million people want that sort of thing. All right, so then Necromunda, another game that I don't play or care about that much, and this is about the gang that I care about the least. I like House Escher, or the Escher gang, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
The Orlocks are like the tried and true workmen or whatever. It's like, okay, fantastic, great. But they do have where's it at? Here he is. They do have the dogs. Little
Yeah, two cyber
dogs are cute.
dogs. I'm all about the cyber dogs. bring some more of those on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take
They're
that
cute. I dig that.
for sure. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, dude with a big hammer. Yeah, that's cool. I just hate the giant flight stand up that one dude's butt.
Oh,
like that
he
just
is.
bugs me.
He's more flight stand than man now. Yes.
Oh, it's just no, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Make it go away.
Yeah. Just please stop. Put him on top of a rock or something.
Yeah,
Like, there's
God, Get with it. I mean, they've done such a good job of basing things recently with like the Light of Eltharion and the way it's all connected and this and that, and the Canary heart renders and how their tails connect. Do so. Get this pole out of this dude's ass. Like, I'm done with that. Enough.
He's so tall too. Like when you look at the box, like that flight stand is like a 4-inch flight stand for a 1-inch guy. Like it's just it's insane.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But hey, if you dig Necromunda, and especially if you like the Orlok gang, I'm sure you're excited. All right, next up, the 40K thing. So we're slowly getting closer to a thing I care about here. I like how they stacked this exactly in the order of my interest, basically. Like, this could not have been built more for me. By the way, I have to go back and look, but I think this was in... Nope, it wasn't. It wasn't quite in the order of the original thing, so they threw us off slightly. They literally stacked it in my exact interest in their games. So, that's cool. Oh, nope, I'm lying. They put the Underworld stuff after Warcry. So if they would have flipped those two.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
That's about right. Yeah.
Okay. At any rate. So, yeah, this guy. Great trailer. I love, Westerns, and I love the Magnificent Seven. Like, he had a really super awesome trailer, but...
That was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Only beaten out by the 300 trailer later.
Sure. But, yeah. But Billy the Nid and the Magnetic Seven and all that was pretty fun. This dude's neat. He shoots a lot. He's a cool-looking Necron. All the new Necrons look cool. Okay.
So, I've never been a 40K fan. When I was, 12, I think I played, for a week and then was like, nah, I'm done with that. But there's a big scene of 40K around me, and with the new stuff, I've been looking at Necrons. Like, I kind of like it. They look simple enough to paint. And
they are super simple to paint. It's true.
Fun. Yeah.
Tutorial coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, some pop highlights and, okay, maybe have a little fun with this. I don't know. But this guy really, I was like, maybe. This guy's kind of cool with all them guns and arms and eyes and I don't know.
No, a bunch of these new models are absolutely amazing. Like, the new Necron range is great, and I love seeing a completely redesigned range brought up to modern standards.
Yeah.
And this dude looks neat. He's got tubes. He's got a lot of tubes and a big ball, so...
Yeah, I mean, especially... Yeah, it just really showcases all their new sculpting abilities. Yeah. I mean, it's cool.
If only they'd stop using their horrendous metal paint on these guys, they'd look so much better. But they keep at it. They just keep they keep banging away with that awful paint.
So true.
Good for them. Okay. And then this little Beyond the Veil mission pack thing, where you can get into the Pariah Nexus. Okay.
Yeah. Don't care.
Vertigus, a new little terrain set for 40K. I generally wouldn't buy whole terrain. Like, first of all, way too many pipes. Let's just start there. Too much. I know you've got a lot of extra pipe sets, GW. Stop trying to push the pipes on us, okay? This is not functional terrain for my uses. But this new piece is really cool. I like this little weird gothic clock-looking thing. Like,
it's okay. I mean, you know me. I'm a terrain snob, more or less, at this point. And this just bores me. Like, it's cool, but it bores me. And I've been printing a couple 40K sci-fi-ish things for a friend in the area, and because he's playing, and he's telling me the rules for 40K terrain, and it's like it has to be 5 inches tall in order to provide any kind of bonus in 40K. I guess
that's to be truly line of sight blocking.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's great. You can't have that's why everything in 40K just becomes the 40KL. It's just a ruined building in an L formation or an X formation or something. Yeah. It's all just boring, and I'm like, I don't care at all about it.
Now, this is pretty. I could easily work this into fantasy terrain. That's what I like about this piece. I looked at this
those top things, and
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Keep the little, because they've got some little wiry things in the back. You could cut those off or not, but everything else is yep, that's a fantasy piece of terrain. Yes, it's got this little weird fan at the bottom. I don't care. You could cover that over a little bit, or just make.
I was gonna say, green stuff that and do a little fleur-de-lis on that or something.
Yeah. Boom. You're good to go.
The only thing that really bothers me about GW terrain Stop putting a skull in every orifice you can
In
find.
everything.
I'm
They
done
just
with this bullshit. Enough.
so many skulls. So many skulls.
They
There's a lot
make
of
such
skulls.
good stuff. Like I tell everybody, even though I print a lot of terrain, like I still will use a lot of GW stuff too because it's great, highly detailed stuff. Just stop putting skulls in everything. I'm tired of it.
They love it. They love it. And then their little tactical deployment mission pack, which uses all the terrain, and it's meant to like allow people to sort of have a BYOT tournament, right, where you can sort of do everything like
So
that. So
I want to talk to you about that for a second,
yeah, sure.
because I've got it like a twofold question on it. Do you? This is common from what I understand, talking with like Anthony Magro, AOS coach, and whatnot in the Australian scene,
Mhm.
where when you show up to a tournament, you're expected to bring 3 pieces of terrain.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Even at like CanCon, they have it's you bring your
yeah,
own terrain. Yeah, I mean
yeah,
the tables have
that
some on them already. It's not like they're blank, but
right.
yes.
Yeah, the organizers provide a couple pieces, and then each player brings 3 pieces, and they set up the table like that. So there's that, and then do you see this maybe going to like coming over to AOS and to the tournament scene in AOS where people now, roll up with their terrain and you set up the table beforehand each time, and that could be semi how they solve some of this faction terrain problem that is happening.
Uh, sure. Could they eventually make a book like this? Yes. The books look. The books department has to make money,
Yeah,
which
I
means
mean,
they've got to print books, right? And this kind of a concept, it's not like it's a terrible thing for either game. My answer is I don't know that it actually matters too much for the scene. Like a lot of TOs really like making their own bespoke tables, right?
right.
And I think this is a problem that's magnified in 40K. Like for AOS, a big tournament, right? Our bigger tournaments are 200, 220 people. I mean, they were before, the
Yeah.
apocalypse or whatever. Uh, but but in 40K, I mean, a 200-person tournament is like that's just a normal weekend.
Yeah.
Their big
True.
tournaments are 500 people, 800 people, right? Uh, you can't like it's the magnitude of difference there in the ask of terrain for an event of that size is insane. And I mean, you look at the big events. CanCon does a little bit of bring your own terrain already,
Right.
right? You look at something like AdeptCon or LVO here in the States, and the people who run those have done a lot of work making a lot of that terrain, right? Like so,
Oh yeah.
I mean, just the amount of work Domus put in for the AOS terrain in the past couple of years is a good example. So, okay. Could they put out the book? Yes, I'm sure they will. Right? Will it become the new standard of tournaments here in the U.S.? I am highly doubtful. That's what I'll say. But who knows? I don't know. I could see a little bit of bring your own terrain stuff happening, but I doubt they'd ever like bring your whole table or even bring 3 pieces. Questionable.
Yeah,
Questionable.
I just thought it was an interesting rule that they had spoken out, and I was thinking, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Maybe in AOS 3.0, if there's a revision, or next year's general handbook,
Right.
could this become like an added rule into, if it goes well for them, an added rule into that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just,
Very much so. That could be possible. Yes. I mean, again, would we like it would not surprise me at all if you saw some version of this little thing next year for like a general's handbook mission, scenario things, blah 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 blah, whatever, all about
right.
terrain. Yes, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And Will in the chat just said NashCon has a pretty good terrain set as well. I believe our guest knows a great amount about that. Yes,
No, I mean,
as
there
you are the
may
founder
be.
of the feast for the NashCon terrain.
Yeah,
So.
there may be an overload at David's house currently of terrain where he is actively asking other members of the local group there, hey, could you store some stuff on a permanent basis?
Sure. We've got to buy a storage facility for him or rent it out just to make sure down in Nashville. All right.
Yeah.
Well, enough with this foreplay. Let's get into
Okay.
Let's get into it. Boom. Warcry into the catacombs. We don't need to play the little videos. I will play a video or two in here because some of them are interesting, and and people will hear them. But
It's a pretty cool video, though, to start out with that 300 this is Warcry, and he
Sure.
kicks him. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I also like that he kicks this little untamed beast guy because yeah, take that.
Yeah, punt that
Anyway,
dude. He's worthless.
exactly. Ironic they are the best models in AOS, but at any rate, so yeah, new box set. This was something we thought was probably going to be happening for a while. Getting a new Warcry base box set.
Yeah,
I have a question for you.
sure.
Okay. So hold on. Before I get to the question, let's explain this further. So this is the new Dark Elves, the new Daughters of Cain band, right?
Yep.
Versus the Scions of the Flame, who we had seen previewed like
Eons ago.
eons ago. They showed up in the core Warcry book as one of the things, as one of the war bands, right?
Yep.
And and then we saw the preview at like the New Year seminar of a couple of the models, and then we saw the rest of them at AdeptCon or whatever. Like, boy, oh
A
boy,
year ago.
long time coming.
Here's the carrot. Keep on running on that treadmill, fatty.
Absolutely. So here's my question: were these two war bands always intended to be in this box, or is this a do we have a COVID influence situation here? Okay. Now, understanding that the lead time to make one of these boxes, okay, like it was probably always going to be Catacombs or something like that. But did they really intend for the Scions of the Flame to come like a year later and as part of the second core set? Or were they originally going to release them as sort of a separate box and something like that, and then eventually, like, as COVID messed their whole plans up, right, they were like, okay, you know what, we've got these elves, we've got these scions, what if we just run off a new box, right? And the lead time on getting the box printed is not as long. I don't know how long it is, but it's in months, not years, right? Getting the figures made is what takes most of the time.
Well, so, the terrain too, because the terrain is usually China made, not UK made.
Correct.
So the terrain could be one of the oldest. I was just thinking about like, no, he's totally wrong, because this looks like a polished, finished thing that could have been maybe like a release at Adepticon, COVID, now we pushed it back. But the more you say it, I'm like, yeah, but why did they put that warband in the core rulebook and then hold it off for so long?
Right. Why did we see so much of it only to wait until this time? Like, did they have these two war bands? They intended to release them. Maybe something else was supposed to be in a new secondary set that got delayed, right? Because their factory was idled for a while, and they had to pivot and do a bunch of 40K stuff, right? Because they needed to run the factories, the UK factory, like full bore on 40K stuff, right?
Right.
And even then, it wasn't enough. Yeah. Because they sold out of Indominus and are doing a big made-to-order thing. So
yeah, which is huge.
Did they look at these two war bands and go, shadow, darkness, flame, light? That's an interesting juxtaposition, that the chaos guys are the light and the good guys are the shadow. A box! Like, does that happen?
Eureka, I've struck gold.
Yeah.
It's an interesting take, and one that very well could have been the conversation and happened. It's just, I don't know. The only part that screws like me going no up is the Scions of the Flame being teased in that original thing. And
imagine it was always going to be Catacombs, right? So the terrain and the board and all that stuff is already, they can print that. So all they're actually needing to then change is the box, the outer box. Right. And the leaflet insert, which, okay, whatever. I could have a leaflet insert literally printed tomorrow into my house within the week, right?
Yeah. No, you might be right. It might have just been a last minute shuffle this thing around.
Yeah. It was interesting because I want to know, when do we get these two war bands? Because I don't need a new box. If you miss, I've heard a lot of people complaining because they missed out on the original Warcry box.
Yeah,
there's a big deal. So if you're one of those people, or you're looking to get into Warcry, which is a fantastically good game, by the by, like, it is a super fun game. So if you're one of those people who is sad because they missed the original box, I think this is an awesome on-road into it. Let's look at all these models now that we've got them all real quick here. So we saw these originally, or I guess some of these originally, but let's look at our Dark Elf people. Like, man,
They are super cool.
They are so good.
Super cool. I mean,
God, this.
Scarecrow dude here with his, spear and dagger, cloak kind of
Yeah,
outflamed.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
This lady firing a mystic bolt from her metal fingers,
yeah.
because she's definitely giving the metal sign in the hand there.
Yep.
Awesome. This witch elf whose face looks very disturbing to me. Like
It's
she's the thing that like
GW
nightmares are
doesn't.
made of.
GW. Okay. I love you, Heavy Metal Team. You guys are wonderful. You do amazing work. Okay. I truly love almost every paint job that they do. I think they're a talented, incredibly talented group of artists. If I might speak to just the Heavy Metal Team, if they can join me over here, just as a side conversation. Heavy Metal Team, you're all talented artists. You're all amazing people. But here's something I would like to ask you to do. Could you please go spend about have a day where everybody in the office doesn't paint, and instead you all watch contouring videos on YouTube, like makeup videos. Okay. Um, just spend 4, 5, 6 hours watching some contouring videos and understand female faces. Okay,
Okay.
a little better, like how light and shadow should play on a female face. They never create the right depth and tones of
No.
things. Like what's throwing you off is this. It's so I this is so tangential to our discussion, but above her eyes have no color. Okay, like they're
Right.
just the same skin color, and we just kind of expect women's eyes to have some kind of color above them. Her cheeks have no rosiness to them. Okay, her nose is too well defined. Like if you watch like a woman doesn't put, if you watch a contouring video, they don't put makeup right here on the side, a deep shadow. They
Right.
smooth it out, right? So it's all these little things that are hitting you together that are putting you into that chasm. Anyways, just a tip for you guys there.
Yeah. Yeah. Whip Lady is
Whip Lady's awesome with her
well,
weird hair thing.
I like Cloak Dude too. Like he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The other, spear throwing
Sister, yeah. These girls are great.
yeah, I mean, she's awesome. This position on this, you know, I mean, it looks like a Shadow Warrior almost with that the way the face cloak comes up and whatnot. It's a unique position, but I like it. But again, here look, we've got sculpted basing. Like, start doing this for flying models too. Stop
Yeah,
being stupid.
sure.
Um,
Yeah, I'm
you
down
know,
with this one. And if you don't like that little piece on the base, it'd be so easy to just have him standing on a rock.
yeah,
So,
yeah. But again, I think the dude with the two crossbows is probably my favorite.
absolutely.
Like he's just baller. He's like, I don't give a
Gunslinger.
crap. I'm coming through. We flinging the bolts. We're good.
Yes. Yeah. I love a good double hand crossbow. Like I'm all about that. I had a fun D&D character that played like that. Anyways, yes, good stuff. And then we've seen the Scions previously, but we'll just scroll through them again here real quick. Uh, they are very, very, very gorgeous models. A lot
Yeah.
of these look really amazing.
The one dude looks like a halfling. The guy with the like flame bowl.
Doesn't he?
Thing.
Yeah.
He looks ill proportioned, like he's a halfling, which I kind of really really like. And then I've
He
always
does.
liked the lady with the dagger and the staff. Like that's a perfect chaos sorcerer conversion right
Oh
there.
yeah. This person right here. Yes.
I love that model. That's a fantastic model.
Yep.
My least favorite of the one is the dude that's on fire. Like,
Mr. I'm all on fire guy. Yeah.
yeah, he's just like, I don't know.
I don't like the face mask. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, the face mask. I don't know. Something about it reads it like half mongoloid proportion to me. Like I don't know. I don't
Sure.
like it.
The leader dude is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I even like a lot of the simpler figs, like what are clearly going to be the more simple members of the warband. But over the head axe guy is great. He's got muscles
yeah.
on muscles on muscles. So yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, even the like base girl who's got that thigh tattoo with
Yeah.
the axe. Wait, like the expression on her face is pretty good. Actually, like that's a great fig right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the real winner is the terrain that comes in this. I mean,
Yeah,
you get
so
quite
here
a
we
bit
go.
of terrain again.
Yeah, so we've got these little like bridges clearly because like so we can see the board, and then you've got these
Yep.
little like bridges, these little piles.
Yep.
Right? See all the piles and that kind of stuff, just this weird little things. And then the arches. So this is called the diorama and basing set.
100% what I was thinking. I'm I'm in the midst of starting to build a fully converted army for what I'm hoping to be Holy Wars next year.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm planning out display board and all this, and I saw these arches, and I was like, these are perfect for maybe not this project, but some projects. Like,
Absolutely.
amazing.
The
amazing
skull bridges,
stuff.
these little
Yes.
I don't know if I can make the picture. Yeah, there we go. Make it a little bigger. The skull bridges, all these 4 little things here, like the little hanging dude with the guy on the wall, and this little pile reminiscent of another thing that they did when they did the objective set. I'm pretty sure they just reused the exact same ZCAD file and then built other stuff around it, but that's fine. I don't care. And then this little pile of like treasure/ruins or whatever. The gates, like this is. There's a little coffin back here. Just all sorts of little pieces, right? These are so good for like larger bases, like your chariot style bases or your big 130s or 160s for people to be walking on. Great for display boards. Great for display minis, right? Like if you're looking for stuff for a plinth. Like these arches, when I looked at them, the number of times I've seen a competition miniature, like for a painting contest, be a person standing in front of an archway.
Oh, right? Yeah.
All the time, this is a thing. So, like, boom, bang, there you go. And people are like, where do you get these archways? Well, here you go. You've got, like, kind of nice... and what I like is there's different aesthetics to it as well. You've got some that are more chaosy with the skull. You've got some that are a little more not quite like that. They're a little more traditional, almost feel a little more death to them or whatever. Like, a lot of cool little things here. So...
Yeah, I mean, really good terrain set, I think. And even in that second picture below the setup of the board... You can see how they've got like a couple of those gates put up against like a rock outcropping. Like that is what I'm talking about right there. Like that is perfect for making a display board or something out of. Like amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, look, here's the other thing I love. This is super clever. Notice that they also didn't just use it as the gate. See how the bridge is actually buttressed by these? Like it's the columns to the bridge.
Yeah.
Take them to the bridge. Like that's beautiful. Like that is display board fodder right there. Like just this is your display board. What we're looking at on screen right now. Like this is it.
100%. Yeah, they did a fantastic job with this. I love this box set just for the terrain alone, and then the models are awesome as well.
Absolutely. So I think this will be a really good pickup, and I was so glad to hear that at the same time you flip the lava board over and boom, it's like version of the original Warcry board. And you get some of the Warcry original terrain in here too. And honestly, this is a better deal than the original one because you get a good mix, right? One of my problems with this is a lot of the original Warcry terrain when you got that big box is kind of samey. It's just like all, okay, got it. Yep, some walls. Okay, cool beans, Like, that's fine, I guess. But it's all one thing. I really love that you get more of a flavor of 2 different kinds of terrain that you can like then mix and intermatch into one big set here.
100%, and that's one of the biggest things why like people want more of the Warcry original sets right now is because they want the terrain out of it. I mean, there's always people asking to buy. Are you not using your terrain? I need the terrain. There's so much you can do with that. If you want to do display board and stuff too, but just to play the game. Like, there's a lot of good, and in AOS games, I mean, this stuff works perfect on an AOS table.
100%. My AOS table has my Warcry terrain on it all the time because I didn't build it as they instructed because that's me. I went in and said, nah, and I got my Azurite ruins out as well and just started, like, gluing things together and making things. I grabbed extra, like, I had all the extra wood from the like erector set pieces from the gnaw holes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I just took those and made a bunch of extra wooden planks and connector pieces and boards. So like that stuff's on my AOS table all the time. And I love it. It's perfect for it.
It is. I mean, this is great scatter terrain, great line of sight blocking stuff. I mean, this is a perfect box. I love this. GW, you do a fantastic job with your boxes. In the box sets of stuff.
This is the Warcry thing we honestly needed because, like I said, there were so many people who missed the original one. Getting both those new warbands. I do want to see when they make both those warbands available individually because, like, I probably don't want to buy this box given that I bought the first one, right?
Right.
And I don't need that much more of this, though I might want to pick up some of these arches individually. I'll probably grab some of those from, like, bit sites or whatever, but... and I don't want the Scions of the Flame, but I do want the Dark Elf people.
Yeah.
So I just want to know when can I get that individually. I would imagine not long after would be the answer there. So, but this is such a good product, such a good on ramp. The question now is price. What is this going to cost? If it's the same price as the original Warcry core set, starter set, whatever, then
no, it's going to be a little more. It has to be, because if you remember, we've taken a price increase this year versus when that was.
Let's say this: if it's within $10 of the original one, it'll be a perfectly good deal. How about that?
You remember what the original one was?
I think it was 120, right? 130, something like
that. Something like that.
It's in that range.
Yeah. That's a good question. I'm thinking this is like a 180.
See, I hope it's not up there in that higher cost. Doesn't feel like it should be up there, but I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose. I mean, there's a lot in it, but
so I just on my computer jumped over to GW's website, and the Warcry starter collection, which is pretty much the original.
Is it like you piecing together the pieces out of the various boxes?
Well, it's essentially like as most of the terrain from the original one, the core book, the tokens, the board, the battle plan cards. You're just missing the actual minis and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is 148.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, when they put them together, I think they always like these sort of intro boxes to be a bit of a loss leader, right?
Yeah.
Because they shape I haven't seen GW's book, so I don't know anything about anything, right? Thank you. Yeah, Xavier said the first box is 130 euros, so it's probably like 150 US or something. Perfect. Okay, great. So here's what I'll say. In general, I think they've made these. They run pretty tight margins on these kinds of products because they want you to buy in, right? Like they're willing to get less margin when it means you're now going to become a regular player of this game and go buy all the rest of the products for it. Right?
This is definitely the gateway drug. Like this opens up the addiction alley full force.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing. That's why Indomitus was, the same price as some of the other box sets, but yet had 3 times the number of figs in it or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is going to be 180. That's where I'm going to...
Okay. 180, plant a flag.
Yeah, I'm playing it at 180.
All right. I'm going to hope for 150, but you're probably right.
I'm still a buyer at 182 because I still think there's great value there.
Sure. All right. Next up are Underworlds. We're going to actually play this video. I'm pretty sure the sound will come through okay. Hopefully it's not too loud. We'll see here. I'll turn it down if it's too loud. That's too loud. There we go. All right, so we're gonna boom, new Lumineth model. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously a Lumineth Realm Lord. Keep going. I'm just gonna talk about these as they come. Again, clearly another one of the Lumineth people with a little flag on their back. Big greatsword wielding dude. Right? Getting into the river casting. We know the 4 elements. We've been promised that. Right?
Yep.
Another new Lumineth person. So, good stuff.
Because that's like one of them bold elements. I originally thought it was a dragon thing.
Sure. Not a Lumineth, that's for sure. Yep.
Yeah, that one's a weird one. That's a Lumineth.
Yeah, no, it is not. It is most definitely not. That is absolutely a mortal Slaanesh person. The hook.
Yeah.
That thing. Yeah, exactly. The round shield. Excited for whatever that model is. Yep.
Yeah.
We barely get a silhouette of that one, and yet it's one of the ones that excites me the most. Here we see this. We're going to get the Slaanesh, and we'll see them on the cover as well. Yeah, bye-bye Beastgrave. Hello, Dire Chasm. Might want to call the naming department on that one. Not so sure about that, but that's fine. All right.
Not feeling that, but okay.
Indeed. Okay, so let's get down into the box. So yes, this is our Season 4 release box, Lumineth versus Mortal Slaanesh. There is a rumor engine in here. I didn't have time to pull all the associated rumor engines, but I'll try to mention them when I see them. For example, the owl, as mentioned on the show, is one of the rumor engines. We actually saw the little owl close up. So there you go. Yeah. You can, this is all Lumineth people. I don't care. We'll come back to them in a second. Let's talk about this awesome Mortal Slaanesh side of the box. Let's make this picture a little bigger. So we've got this awesome girl who looks a lot like Syl of
Hmm.
Sileski, right? Fantastic. The Slanagor back here. What? A Slanagor model in 2020.
Yeah.
I did not imagine that was going to be part of my year. This year keeps being a year of highs and lows. Uh, and just look at how they have. I love that they retained the creepy triple leg. I don't know if anybody ever
Ugh.
noticed that, but it's got like the, you know what I'm saying? It's got like the down, up, down leg again. So
Yeah.
weird. Like the fiend legs, basically, is what it has, right?
Yeah, they bend the wrong way a second time.
Yes, yes. So good. So good. Oh, yeah. The parachute pants, hammer pants are back 2020. The Heat Knights of Slaanesh are bringing back hammer pants. I'm excited about it. Very excited about it. It's funny that both. I think that's what this battle's actually about, because as we all know, Teclis is wearing hammer pants,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And clearly, the Heat Knights of Slaanesh, the mortal followers here, also big fans of the hammer pants. I'm gonna argue that what's at the center of the dire chasm is the greatest hammer pants. Like it is the most pristine, probably gold macrame set of hammer pants, right? And that's what this
So,
battle is over. Who will claim the ultimate hammer pants?
the fight over the textile industry begins.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
The I'll put on out the other two. We got a little Slaanesh archer person back here with a mohawk. Again, you know that one of the things they mentioned during the stream was the callback to classic early
yeah.
models. This that definitely does that. There's a lot of those early Slaanesh stuff that feels like this. It has those kind of mohawks and those kind of feelings. And then, did you catch this one right here in the middle? Like, looks like probably the leader of their warband,
That's what
wearing
I was
like the
just thinking.
leather
Yeah.
bustier and the thigh-high leather boots. Got the claws coming out.
Some kind of pole arm draped over
Yep.
shoulders.
Yep.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Dig it. And then on this side, yes, this girl here, which is clearly the one we saw in the video with the big flag or whatever.
Yeah.
She looks really cool. I'll be interested to see what this model looks like. I think this is a neat addition.
With that
Uh,
great sword, like that
yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah,
pretty damn cool. Yeah.
yeah. So like,
Um,
I think this is fantastic. What a way to open the new season. I'm
that
excited about this. Very
that
excited.
dude's helm tricked me the first time I saw it. I was like, is that like some weird dragon looking thing? Oh no, it's just one of them stupid elf helmets.
Gotcha. Gotcha
You
with the
got
bull
me.
helm. Yep, they
Oh,
gotcha.
so dumb.
Yeah. So, but then, oh, hold on. We gotta save the big reveal. Okay. So, very
Oh,
excited about this. Obviously, this is right in my wheelhouse. Obviously, I'm gonna pick up the Slaanesh Warband.
yeah.
Worst case, I'll have to like give away the Lumineth to somebody else or something like that because I don't care about them. But we also got a little cheeky reveal of the next Warband coming after these two, and what is it,
Oh my
Anthony?
god, the best
Boom!
thing ever.
Boom!
Oh, Seraphim finally gets a new model, and it's a proper chameleon skink that doesn't look like trash.
He looks
With
so much better than the old metal ones. I just painted a bunch of those old metal ones recently, and I was like,
oh
wow, these
god,
guys look derpy.
they are so terrible. Like this is an amazing model. I love the way he's perched on this tree. Now, what seems a little odd to me though is, does it look to you like that tree goes over onto the side of the rim of the base?
It does. It totally does. Yes.
Like that's so weird, but I don't care. I love it. I love it. The curl of his tail. They called it out, and I hadn't noticed it at first because the picture I had seen was small. I love how he has this poison dart frog strapped to his waist, and he's got his dart shoved down his gullet
Mm-hmm.
as
Get
his
him poisoned.
quiver. So that,
Yeah, it's amazing.
oh, that's the best thing ever. I love it.
It's
Oh,
amazing.
I literally need to buy 5 of just this guy to have a real unit of chameleon skinks.
Yes. What this tells me. So we'll talk about it when we get to the final thing. But like, please just make a whole unit of these. People would buy
Yeah.
them.
Right?
People will come, Ray. Okay, like just make this unit. People will buy these. This
As
guy
it is,
is
I'm looking at like,
adorable.
yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna need to buy a bunch of these, you know, secondhand, whatever. Buy 15 of the warband, and then just snip his legs, green stuff, new legs, so I can put them in slightly different positions,
Yeah.
and have a unit of these. If you don't make these, but damn you, GW, make more of these. This is super super cool.
Yeah, I agree. His arm leg setup is really weird. Have you noticed that? Like he's just got like all arms. Like I mean, that's do you get what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
has no
yeah, yeah, yeah.
legs.
Like,
He's all arms. Everything is completely all four of his limbs are the same. They're all arms.
I mean, that's what lizards are, though.
I get it. I get it. I'm
Like,
not disagreeing with it.
I like him better than the old sculpts of any nature because this is what skinks in general should look like, and especially chameleon skinks. I
Yeah.
just love it. Just
What's
love it.
fascinating to me about it is if we saw them redone, so like old skinks and old chameleons, they're still clearly more humanoid. Like they're still clearly two legs and two arms,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This guy just has four arms. There's no
Yep.
legs. Okay,
Yep.
he's just. And I agree with you. Like lizards are four-legged, and you translate that directly over and become four-armed creatures or whatever, right? Whatever that means. I just mean they're all sort of prehensile in some way, right?
Yes.
They're all grippy in the same way.
Could you imagine a conversion with this guy on a bigger tree? Cut his, feet off. You'll have to resculpt his feet, cut his tail off, and just have him hanging by his tail upside down from a tree with his blowpipe.
Absolutely, man.
Like,
Turn him,
oh
flip,
my
flip him straight
God.
upside down. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I need it. I need all this.
Yeah, this guy is fantastic. Um, yeah, hopefully you don't have to wait too long on these. Like, I hope if the new season is December, we know that.
Yep.
Okay. So one would hope that the Seraphon come in Q1.
Yeah, this is probably like an LVO February thing.
Yeah, that sounds right. So
Yeah, I'd love to see what other models are going to do for this warband and what they look like because,
I mean, there's going to be an awesome Saurus.
yeah, could you? I mean, a sword. I could see an actual proper, not pardon my language, shit sculpted Croxagore.
Ooh, that would be he'd be
In
a
there.
big, and it'd
Oh.
make the warband real small. That'd be the problem because Underworlds is so tightly controlled, right?
Well, because skinks. I mean, so you could have like a chameleon skink, maybe a regular skink, or another chameleon skink, a single Saurus, and a Croxagore. And that's
Sure.
it. I'm good.
Sure.
I'm perfectly fine.
Or Kroiger, as I like to call them, just to really drive people insane.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I mean, they're just terrible models right now.
They are really bad. A new Kroiger would be incredible, and what would be incredible about it is that you could then build a whole unit out of them really easily.
Yes, which is again another thing Seraphim players like myself have been crying for. They need better rules, though. I don't know why you'd even use them. I still think they're
Sure,
trash.
they're real bad right now, but still, if you're one of those people who really loves them and wants a unit, the reality is you only need three of them. So getting your hands on three of those sculpts is not hard. Like making your
100%.
whole army out of just this chameleon skink, like getting the 10 or 20 of those you might actually want, not as
Yeah.
easy. But getting three of the big dudes, sure, if they did that. All right.
Oh yeah.
So we also got our Arena of Death thing, the Arena Mortis, which is just a multiplayer. You pick one hero and you can have up to 6 people fight. Okay.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, multiplayer stuff is always fun. So
Yeah. That's cool. So great stuff. Neato burrito. I don't play Underworld, so I don't care. But I have most of the Underworld's warbands just because I buy them to paint them. So so this has no interest to me whatsoever. But okay.
I had some interest in it until Warcry came out, and then I was like, okay, well, you've just killed Shadespire for me. But I like the models; they do some amazing sculpts in that range.
Yeah. This ghoul guy in the center looks really weird and looks like he needs to get some pants on, like for serious. Please put some pants on, buddy.
Oh, come on!
It looks like the orc is just infuriated because he is showing him his junk. That's what's
It's
going
like,
on here.
look at my cod piece.
Yes.
Like, no, please make it stop.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, at any rate, that's a weird contrapposto on that ghoul leader there.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so now AOS. Oh boy, goody. And
All right.
duh, we're gonna watch the video on this one.
Before you play the video,
Yes,
was this the most exciting or the most disappointing thing for you?
both simultaneously.
100. See, that's where I'm going. Like, I was like, ooh, Valerian Shadow Elves, yes. No, that's not what you gave me, but
No.
this is pretty badass
Look,
too.
let me tell you what I think. Okay, I don't have any reason to think this, but let me tell you what I think. You're not going to see Malarian for a long time. A long time.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, he won't come out for years. And I think the reason for that is because he's just going to be the last mover. Narratively, he's the last mover. He's the last one who would do anything. He's also the one that would require the most new sort of big sculpting work, so they want to make sure they nail it and get it right with all the weird shadow demon elves and stuff, you know. So, like, Teclis will draw Tyrion into this thing, right?
Right.
And that'll be an obvious, like, the Lumineth release part 1 sets up Lumineth release part 2, because you only got like 4 of the nations and 1.5 of the elements,
Right.
So there's such an easy on-ramp into doing more Lumineth, into drawing in the Tyranic factions, right?
Yeah, I mean, am I my brother's keeper? You're always so weak until your brother comes to save your ass anyway. So
Yes, Tyrion is always the one showing up to help Teclis, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll get Tyrion before we get Malarian. And they've got to be careful with these elf releases because they want to make sure that, like, what they're trying to get
will be too much at once and flood the world.
Well, no, what they're trying to get is the elf players to buy all the elf factions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? And if you do 2 in a year, it's not going to happen. But if you spread them out, then the elf players buy all the elf stuff. Okay?
Fair enough.
Because they're all crazy elf people who love elves. All right?
Yeah.
So no, I in no way expected Balerion today. I think if you did, you were crazy. Like, I'm sorry, my personal take. My guess is you'll see Malarian, if you're lucky, 2022. I would put it more in 2023.
Okay.
I'll plant that flag. Okay? Sorry. So there you go. Now, was this the highest moment and lowest moment for me? Yes, and I'll explain why after we watch the video.
All right.
Once again, too loud. There we go.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yes. Snakes. Okay. Okay, got it. Yep.
All right, yeah.
Uh-huh. All right. Oh, what? Hold on.
Oh,
Yep.
what?
Up. Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Hello.
Oh, Leather Daddy. Oh, Leather Daddy.
Oh, yes. The Iron Scale. Love it. And then the Lord of Pain.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that's it. That's the important part. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Bloop. Shadow and Pain.
Yep.
Love it. Great. Fantastic. They made the Daemonettes on the cover here a little too hideous. Their faces aren't this hideous. These look like ghouls. So I need to speak to the artist who drew this. Like,
they definitely do look like ghouls. Yeah.
Yeah, they look way too bedraggled and ugly. Like, the Hedonites, the Daemonettes are actually, I really like the sculpt. I know everybody loves the Wandeas Daemonettes, and they're fine. They're too small now. But
right.
the Daemonettes themselves, I really love their faces. They actually have some of the most expressive faces because they they perfectly nailed the mix of, like, beauty and horror. It's like one of those horror movie monsters where it's like a beautiful woman and then her face changes and she's like, ah, you know, it's like halfway through that transition. Perfect.
Right.
Anyways, so that aside. Okay, so this is one of our classic box set things, right?
Yeah.
And what we're getting is 10 snakes, which clearly you can build. They did it as 5 bows and 5 stabbies, but you can
Obviously.
do it either way.
Yeah, build it any. Doesn't matter.
Same with the 5 Kinerai. Again, you can do them as Heart Renders or Life Takers. And then you're getting the Iron Scale, which is, as they've done many times with this, you're getting the new sculpted hero. She looks great. We'll look at her up close in a minute. On the Slaanesh side, you've got 10 Seekers, which can be built in either Seeker configuration, as well as the Hellflayer. Don't miss that Hellflayer up there, which can be built as either a Hellflayer or a Seeker Chariot, or one half of the Exalted Seeker Chariot if you have another one sitting around.
Which is crazy that they included that big model in this, in my opinion.
I know, right? Yeah, I was actually surprised by that.
Yeah.
And then 10 regular Daemonettes. And then, most importantly, the Lord of Pain. Yes.
Mr. Leather Daddy himself.
Finally we're here. And it's exactly what I imagined, Anthony. It's exactly what I imagined. Look at how the leather is connected to him.
I was just saying he's
hooks in his skin.
Oh,
I was talking about the leather and the scarification back when I was hoping this was the thing that was coming. It is exactly what I pictured. Exactly.
It's so crazy. So crazy. I mean, he's got these, like, definitely 80s, punk rock boots on with his thigh highs stapled to his legs, and I mean, yeah, it's the one glove Michael Jackson style.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got the ball gag in his mouth.
Yep, absolutely. I was gonna get there if you didn't.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this model is awesome. It really, really is awesome.
Yes. Oh, sorry. My co-host today, for those who joined late, is Anthony Polcastro. Tom was unable. I know not everybody joined. I'll move this aside so everybody can see Anthony. Wave hello, Anthony.
There
he is. Sorry, we were covering him up because I only have so much screen real estate, and I wanted to make sure everybody could see this. But yes.
Yeah, no one wants to see this anyway. It's fine. They want to see the good models.
They want to see this beautiful leather daddy. Oh my God! Look, man. Things I don't need. More snakes. Okay, I have so many snakes. Like my army was mainly snakes. Okay. I don't need more seekers. I've got plenty of those converted. I've got my 15. That's what you use. You use 15, right?
Yeah.
I've got so many chariots. I have 70 painted daemonettes, which is generally more than you would ever use. But I really need this model. Like, I need this, okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm going to have to find a way to get this dude hook or crook without buying the box set. Because, I'm sorry, I just don't need all that extra stuff. Either that or I'm going to have to resell all the extra stuff, which is not going to sell at all because it's just all the old stuff. I do love the Iron Scale. I want to paint her up. This guy's incredible. I love this dude. I love a new Mortal Slaanesh. Does this plus the Underworlds thing herald that we will get the Slaanesh expansion we should have had already, which is Mortal Slaanesh?
So that was actually going to be my question to you is, Tom had talked about it on Wednesday that there were rumors of a new doc book. It's one of the older books. It's a very powerful book still. Slaanesh got a new book not that long ago, but has been hit with the Nerf bat twice. Rightfully so the first time. A little bit overkill the second.
But that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, they've been hit multiple, but yeah, they needed to be hit once at least, but there's always that overcorrection that seems to happen.
Sure.
And they have completely been dismantled. So does this usher in 2 new books to go along with it, like all the other sets have done? And what does that look like for the Slaanesh side? The doc side, yes, they need a whole new book. So not because they're not playable, they're not powerful enough, but maybe they need a little bit of tone down. And the way rules have changed recently.
They need a complete rewrite. I'm going to be honest, because there's a bunch of stuff that's janky in that book. I'll talk about Doc in a second. But anyways.
Yeah. On the Slaanesh side, is this an expansion book, an add-on, or a full new book? I think it's a full new book that encompasses your demon part in the front, and then here's all the new Hedonite mortal stuff on the back end. That's what I'm seeing in my mind, and I'm all for it. Okay. Give them back to a nice playable standard and some new stuff to use.
Is everybody ready? Here you go. I'm going to give you what's going to happen over the next 12 months.
Drop the knowledge bomb.
Here we go. I've got the, you can't see it, it's right off camera, but I've got the board. I've got the Pepe Silva board. Okay, it's out there. I'm going to weave this all together for you. You ready? All right, here we go. The next thing that we saw, which we'll get to in a second, is the Marathi book. Okay? Right?
Yep.
Marathi has been purposefully extracting extra souls, and in doing so is causing Slaanesh's prison to get weakened. Right?
That's the lore.
Okay. Marathi's screwing it all up. Marathi I've got up on screen here. She's obviously out for godhood, and nothing is going to stand in her way to get it, right? She wants it real bad. To the point where, what would you say? Would you say that in her quest for godhood, she's being excessive in her use of anything she can to achieve it, Anthony?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Interesting. I feel like there's somebody chained up very near her who feeds off of excess. Okay, so here's your full story. Will there be a Mortal Slaanesh expansion? Yes, there will, and it will come through the new book, in
The Marathi book.
The Marathi, it would not in Marathi itself, in a follow-up book that'll be all about the release of Slaanesh. I don't know where in the line that happens, but I know that's where it happens, and that's when you'll get your new mortal Slaanesh book. As Slaanesh escapes, and Slaanesh's power, as the power of Slaanesh floods back into the mortal realms, right? You will get a bunch of mortal people suddenly converted. Those who live in the realm of excess, right? Who are seeking after perfection and doing all this stuff that have been calling to her will now find themselves empowered by her. And boom, bang, you get a mortal Slaanesh book. Not in the form of like Slaanesh 2, Battle Tome. In the form of that book. Because they said these things will also herald model releases. Okay, which we'll talk about it when we get to Marathi in a moment.
Yes.
And it will be a relatively small expansion. Like it won't be a huge line. Let's say probably 3-4 figs. I got 3-4 units, whatever. And that will be your mortal expansion. Yes, does this mean a battle tome is on the way? No, it doesn't. It means that one of these new books is on the way, and it will bring with it the new models. Slaanesh escapes, Heat Knight Mortals. This is the first step in that. This box set is meant to represent the first in sort of the wave of this, as Marathi and Slaanesh's followers clash, blah, 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 and that heralds the eventual release of Slaanesh and the eventual Mortals. Now, let's talk about the dock side. This guy is so beautiful. I love everything about this guy. I want him so bad. All right, anyway. How did he get blood up here? Just like, did he hit somebody with this? How do you attack with this? Anyways. This Melusai Iron Scale is gorgeous. Like, yeah, she's...
It's a nice model. The way the tail curves around. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, they've done some nice stuff there.
Yep. I'd be like, I'll probably grab one of these to paint. Let's talk about what this means, this particular means for Doc. I do think you'll see a new Doc book. And I like, either that or Marathi itself is going to have a lot of rules in it to basically be the new Doc book, right? Which is also the other way they could go. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I don't know. It's going to be one of the two. It depends how rules heavy Marathi is. Okay. So, the trick with this model, by the by, is that right now in the Doc book there is a problem. And that problem is this. If you want snakes as your battle line, you have to take a really crappy wizard with no command ability as your general. Okay?
Right.
And then you don't get command abilities because all of the Doc command abilities are general only. Because it was printed pre-AOS 2.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And there's actually multiple situations you can get into in Doc where you just don't have command abilities. I mean, other than the generics. You get like the 3 generics, right?
Yeah.
But you just can't use your command abilities because if you take the Snake General, which turns on battle line snakes, you don't get a command ability. You literally zero. You only have the 3 generics. If you take Marathi as a general, she does not turn on battle line snakes, and you get no command abilities once she transforms.
Right, she loses hers in the transformation.
Yep.
And hers is very powerful from the get-go.
Hers is really good, but the problem is you need to grip and rip Marathi early, right? So it's like, okay, I get what you were going for there, but it just doesn't work. My hope is that this new hero, this Melusai Iron Scale, is going to actually be like a warrior Medusa hero.
Yes.
And have a real command ability and will satisfy the Melusai general. And now you can, which seems to be clearly what they're pointing at with doing a whole snake box set, right?
Right.
And you will now be able to actually run a snake army and have it
temple nest.
Do stuff. Whoa! Yeah. Crazy. Because right now the only thing that actually works in that army is like a Cauldron of Blood with a bunch of witch elves and sisters. That's it. Like, that's the functional, plays like an army you would expect it to play army, and I have less than 0 interest in that.
Right. That battle tome also has the, some host problems.
It super has host problems.
Yeah.
Hagnar's way out of line. Calibron's super cool. And then Kraith is a train wreck. And, I love you, Chuck, but you're a madman, right? So just like... again, we just need to have that kind of stuff fixed. Oh, by the way, there's multiple rumor engines in these two.
Yes.
By the by, his boot was a rumor engine.
Yep.
If you remember, we saw his boot. And then her her little hangly dangly beads on the end of her staff. That was also a rumor engine. Sorry, I was supposed to be calling those out, but yes, both of those were rumor engines. And so just the way they could expand it is pretty nice. But Anthony, we've buried the lead because we've got to get into it. Here we go. Ba-boom! Broken Realms. The Realm Wars, Malign Portents, the Soul Wars, Wrath of the Everchosen, the vast ongoing story of the Mortal Realms has encompassed many great events to break it down. The Stormcast Eternals ushered in the Age of Sigmar, driving back the hordes of chaos and allowing civilization to return to the realms in the form of great cities. Nagash raids hordes of dead to claim the realms for himself. The ancient storm vaults full of long-buried secrets were opened, and most recently, chaos and death have been knocking chunks out of one another on the 8 points. Now it is time for the next chapter, a narrative event that will define the future of the Age of Sigmar. Broken Realms is here. Or, as you might know it by another name, Psychic Awakening, but this time for AOS.
Psychic Awakening 2, AOS Boogaloo.
That's right. That's right. I've had the art piece up of Marathi the whole time because I think it is stunningly gorgeous.
Tell me that wouldn't be a great conversion for a base for Marathi. Put her on a giant coming out of the giant cauldron. Yeah.
Oh my god, yes. It's amazing. The way she's breaking it. Right? Like she clearly just transformed. Like she was regular Marathi having a little dip. Having a little bathe in a big cauldron, and then she just ripped out into her full form, right?
Oh, it's awesome!
Like just that blood spray everywhere. It's incredible. So this is
who's she fighting there?
That would be the Idneth Deepkin, who are about to get who are not going to show up on the bright side of this fight. I'm only seeing like 4 eels. But I'm seeing all the witch elves. I've seen this battle on the tabletop. It does not end well for this side.
Well, they said new rules for all this stuff, so maybe there's some good Idnet stuff coming because they're a crap show right now.
Yes, too. Somebody pointed it out, and absolutely. Check out this Namarti getting booted in the face by this life taker, just like she's coming in hot, ready to stab.
The hot drop kick from the top rope.
I love it. This art piece is incredible. I want to get if Warhammer Art ever releases a big print poster of this one, I would totally buy this.
If it didn't have the stupid Warhammer community logo on the bottom, which they should do, don't get me wrong, sure. I would totally steal this, print this, and put it on a wall for sure.
Yeah. Like, you can, I've got a couple of the official prints, like, I don't know which side I'm supposed to move to. There you go. I've got the sister, whatever her name is, Tamriel or whatever. It's really hard to move in reverse. There you go up there. My favorite, like, Sisters of Battle print. I got a couple others. Like, I'm all in for buying those prints. So if you make one, I will get it. Yeah. Clearly, Slaanesh breaking free. Broken Chain. I love this Slaanesh art. Obviously, this is the chain Slaanesh is the art on my Fane, right? Many of the pillars are still standing, but they're getting weaker. That's what we want to see, baby. And then just this super cool, like, Idneth piece of art is neat. So, neat stuff there. Okay.
Do you think, before we get into the real nitty-gritty of this, do you think they will actually make a Slaanesh model or Chaos God model for any of the factions?
What are you doing?
We're streaming because there was a reveal show today.
Is it you and Tom?
No, it's Anthony.
Oh, okay, good. I like him.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, I'm sorry. What was your question?
Do you think that they will actually release a Slaanesh model or any Chaos God model, Khorne or Nurgle?
No, never.
I don't think so either. I've heard people say that it's going to happen. I don't think that that's a possible thing. So
no, I just don't. I really don't. The Chaos Gods will never be something you see on the table. In the same way, you'll never see Sigmar on the table.
Right. It's too powerful of a thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
they're meant to be not represented in that way, which is fine. Okay. So that is meant to be, or that brings us to sort of the big story. Yes, this Psychic Awakening thing. So Broken Realms is clearly our malign portents type of lead up, right? And it's all part of this big Psychic Awakening thing where what we're going to see is the ongoing narrative evolve through these expansions. They saw what they did with Psychic Awakening and how well it sold. And they and they said, hey, this is a great way to, 1, fix up army books, right? 2, sell another book. 3, add some more rules. 4, add some more models. And 5, be a big part of the narrative. Right? So this just makes absolute sense to me why they do it. Now, next big question, Anthony. Psychic Awakening came out with all these great rules and stuff for all the armies, and then they went, oops, 3rd edition, or 9th edition, sorry. I kind of gave away the game on my question there. Oops, 9th edition, and a bunch of these books are of questionable use now. Right?
Yep. And AOS is going to see the same thing with the release of 3rd edition in my take.
Yeah. Is this our first realization that next year we'll get our 3rd ed?
I mean, I want to say no. My heart wants to say no. We don't need a complete new revamp, rewrite, read this, read that. We do need some changes to some stuff and some things, but I have a feeling they're going to Sigmar open up the new chamber to the new edition, and you're going to see 3rd edition roll out next year. Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. I don't mind if we go to 3rd edition, as long as all this content stays useful. The changes into 9th were actually really big for 40K, especially when you look at stuff like all the weapon profiles changing, there was so many big changes that made a lot of this content really hard to use and keep track of. And what this means, hey, I love more books, but what this means is let's say you're playing Doc. Well, now you're carrying 2 books minimum.
Yep.
Right? Because you're gonna have your base Doc book, part of which is going to be changed, and you're going to have your Morathi book, theoretically. They were very unclear about what exact rules are in here, right?
Yeah, that's the next thing. Is it rules for the entire game? Rules for... Are these books like the End Times books, where certain ones added new models, certain ones added, changed the Winds of Magic, added new core mechanics to the game? Do they change will they change point values in this? Will they unlock different hosts like in Wrath of the Everchosen?
Right.
What
Yep.
Yeah, what's all contained in this? I want to know now.
There's so many different ways this could go. You're exactly right. Let's break it down, right? So obviously we've got at least one new model showing up, right? Because we've got the Melusai Iron Scale. And which I think will actually have, as I mentioned, really big impacts on how the army's played. Right? Because you can actually run snake armies. Okay? And I like Halo's comment, by the way. Now you're carrying 1 phone maximum. Yeah, fair point.
Well, it really, though, is a phone good enough at this point? Do you need to carry around a tablet?
Everything I play is from my... I mean, in general, I have my phone, yes, because I reference everything in the app, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, me too. But now let's get the app updated still.
Well, it is now if it actually works, but separate story for all that. Wanting Code, yes, there was a Warcry preview. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It's pretty great. It's actually a fantastic Warcry preview, so there's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the first in these books. They said this is a whole new series, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why I say that eventually you're going to see the new Mortal Slaanesh in the Slaanesh book. That'll time with Slaanesh's release. As Morathi's plans go awry, I think there'll be multiple books in between there. When it comes to what are the rules that are going to be in here, like I said, this is clearly some kind of Psychic Awakening thing. New units, new temples, right? New battalions, new clearly there'll be new special narrative battle plans and narrative stuff like that. But for what armies? The Morathi book we know will contain Doc and IDK, right?
So all right, so if they don't do a complete new book for Doc, and this is just the supplement, how does that, does it say in there, invalidate all of your hosts or temples or whatever you want to call them for ID or for Doc and just use what's in this book?
Maybe. They could do that, right? Ooh. They could absolutely do that. Wani, it's early in the show. The show will when we're done recording, you'll be able to scroll back in the show to watch it.
Yeah, if you scroll back around the 50 minutes ago mark, it was back around there, 55 minutes ago mark.
So you'll be able to go back to that. Also, just if you go to Warhammer Community, it's linked right at the top. If you want to see the actual releases there. Yeah, the number of things they could do here. I think it's really interesting that the first two out of the box are updates to two of the pre-AOS 2 armies that we needed, right? So Doc and IDK. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, thank you. Yes, that was the other thing I meant to mention. Hawkeye said new artifacts, etc. Yes, yes, absolutely. New artifacts will be part of this. New artifacts, new command traits, right?
Yep.
All that new spells. Could we see new pseudo realm artifacts? Could this be a way to like? Did they kill realm artifacts in the big list? Because now, as they roll out these Psychic Awakening books, right?
Oh,
They're
that's
going to
interesting.
have new expansions of the artifacts the individual armies can take, right? Imagine if just every one of these books had 6 more artifacts. That alone would solve a lot of the problem or a lot of the challenge with the current artifact situation.
Can you hear the nerd rage already of how people are going to complain? Oh, their book has got more artifacts now because they got this book, and I still don't have that, and I want this back. And
Sure. Hey, I get it.
That's so crazy. That's touchy territory right there. I don't know about that.
Okay, so let's take a swing here. What's our book 2?
Ooh, what's it named, or what 2 factions does it contain?
I'll take either.
Okay. So this is
I have a very strong guess.
Glockin.
Good call.
Big-
You're
big
halfway
Papa
where I was.
Glock.
I was going to say Nagash. Okay. And
Yeah.
but in that book it would contain Nagash and
Nurgle.
Nurgle. Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I agree. I like your name better too because it fits with the pantheon of lesser gods there.
Yep.
So Marathi, Nagash, then you've got your Tyrians, your Teclises, and all that. So yep, I'm with you.
Yep. So I think this first book will be is Marathi. It'll contain Slaanesh and IDK. Might contain a third one too. I don't know. Who knows? It's hard to say. Like I could see them putting one more in here, but that we just haven't kind of seen about yet. But like there's probably some Slaanesh stuff in here. I bet, but who knows?
Right.
Hard to say. Maybe not.
Well, again, they said that the Wrath of the Everchosen was, death and chaos, and there is no death in that book whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we need now is the death book. So, and life versus death, they like crap like that, right?
Yeah.
So, so the obvious, those are 2 books that need updates. So the obvious book 2 is Nagash, and it's Nagash versus the Force of Nurgle. Like Nagash himself and his plans, especially since through Catacross he has a foothold in the All Points, and Nurgle might be the first one up to go fight him, right? Might be the Nurgle's like the fastest of all the chaos people somehow, so he would get there first.
So in this theoretical Nagash book that includes Nurgle, does it then allow you to just carry that book instead of the 7 you need to play Nurgle?
Say that one more time.
In your Nagash book,
Yeah.
where it contains Death and Nurgle,
Yep.
does that book then allow you to roll up to the table with just that book to play Nurgle, or do you still need to carry the 7 books that currently contain Nurgle when you want to play them?
Oh, got it. Yes, you do still need the one phone. That is true.
Yeah.
I would probably recommend at that point a tablet, just because it'll be easier to flip between all the various things.
Oh my god.
So maybe get yourself some kind of tablet-like device. Those, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. The my feeling is you won't see much of like the Bone Daddy stuff in book 2, okay? Because they're kind of where they are, and they're pretty fine, and they're pretty recent. But they'll use it to do as Nagash himself. They'll use it to fix up legions in some way. They'll probably do a little bit of Nighthaunt expansion and cleanup, right?
That's fine. Yep.
Because the ghosts are there in a big way. Like Lady Elinder is there herself, right?
Yep.
And they'll do Nurgle because Nurgle needs the touch. And also it just makes sense like that the Chaos Gods would go, okay, well we've got to fight this death guy. Let's bring in the life dude, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Nurgle does need that. And Nurgle's on the list of things that need the slight revamp.
Yep.
Legions and Nagash, has a lot of great stuff to it, but it needs updating to the time. So it makes perfect sense to bring them in next and two armies people really like also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, the only other potential possibility, if they don't go Nagash, okay, and I doubt they do this as book 2, but if they wanted, the other way you will get Nurgle, there's one other possibility that I could see them sliding in for Nurgle, okay?
All right.
Which is, the book would be called Alariel.
The dead god.
And it would be Alariel's forces versus Nurgle, right?
Right. Life versus life.
Yeah, who's the real patron of life, right? Nurgle is big time invested into her plane, into Gairan, and they have lots of fights all the time.
Oh yeah.
So, that could be, and I think they'll follow this kind of thing of picking out the major characters. The gods or near gods will be kind of what you get.
Yep.
And like Sylvaneth also need a touch. People know that. The recent survey that we ran showed that like Sylvaneth are in outrageous need of help.
They're the best army out there. I don't know what you're talking about. Great models, shit rules, 4 points. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. I think you'll see a destruction tome pretty early on here. Okay, like you'll see a tome called Gordrak or something like that. Wherein they'll touch probably like the Iron Jaws and the Bone Splitters, basically the War Clans, and that's where you'll actually get probably a minor either Stormcast or cities will show up in that book because destruction has to fight civilization,
right?
And so Gordrak is probably going to be one of these books, right? And they'll keep. I mean, these are going to roll out forever. So I have no idea what their timing on this will be. Here's what I'll say. Their timing on the Psychic Awakening books was almost one a month.
Okay. I'm thinking like maybe one every other month, maybe one a quarter for this.
I hope.
And they stretch this out over.
Please don't do more than that. Here's the thing. I don't want 3.0 next year. We don't need it. Okay? Yes, there are some things that need fixed in the game. Not new edition changeover big enough. Okay?
Right.
So, like, if you're going to change editions, if you're going to make those rules fixes, then be light touch. Don't change anything else. Just change the few small things, and then all of our existing tomes will actually stay valid, unlike 40K, where clearly that's not going to be the case. Okay? I don't want to live in that world. The changeover from AOS 1 to AOS 2 was actually really smooth. Almost to the point where it wasn't a big change. Right?
Yeah, it was just some slight rules interactions where you really needed to, okay, now we have this command point resource and we can multiple use these things, everybody can use it. But it wasn't a fundamental like, hey, stat lines have changed.
Every gun in the game it's changed. Right?
Yeah,
that's 9th edition 40K, right? All of them. All the guns changed, basically. All the rules, like how you shoot at hordes, what does blast things mean, how does terrain work, like these are all big changes that happened, right? And I just don't want to see that happen. I don't want to get on this battle tome treadmill that 40K is on. Okay? I agree with you. Take this Psychic Awakening for 40K. Broken Realms, right?
Right.
And piece it out. Give us one a quarter, maybe one every 2 months sometimes. Spread them out, hit 2-3 armies per book, and let's not have a new edition next year. Let's just have a year without a new edition of a thing and give us other cool stuff. Like, GW will throw money at you, just make cool stuff. You don't need to make new editions, okay? And then we can keep rolling. And then if maybe in 2022 we want to do the whole, minor edition changeover, great. I'm a much happier person in that scenario. But we can't be on a battle tome treadmill, okay? I understand how the book game works. I understand how the book and box department has to make money. I understand how you're compared year over year, forecasts and budgets versus actuals. Like, I get it. I work for a company too. I understand what finance looks like.
Yeah.
But, and I understand how these things happen, but like there has to be other things we can do, because in the long run, it's very detrimental to a game like AOS to put us on the battle tome treadmill. We don't want that. Especially given the sheer number of armies we have.
So I'm having a look at the comments, and I like Cold Shoulder there. The book of Croak versus Nagash, who the real Lord of Death is.
Yeah, indeed.
I love my dead frog.
I
know he triggers you, and that makes me love him even more.
I'm
I'm not gonna
trying
lie,
not
but
to. I'm trying not to slam on him. Okay, you're not helping me any here.
I mean, just think about if the next book, right? If they're doing the godly books, you've got Marathi, then they do our Lord and Savior Croak,
Sure.
and he becomes an auto forecaster also, and still stays at 300 points. It'd be perfect.
Sure.
I mean,
let me just say either Seraphon will be the undercard. So I think these books are going to work in title card, undercard, right? So
Yeah.
the Idneth are clearly the undercard in this one.
right.
And I would assume that the Seraphon end up as the undercard in whatever book they're in. Okay.
Which is crazy because they're such a popular army, but there are obviously there's a lot of popular armies at this point. So
Sure.
yeah.
It's just, who do you put on the cover? Croak? Is that what it is? Is the book called Croak?
Yes.
You're going to put out a book called Croak. No,
yeah.
No, you're not. I don't see it. Seraphon,
Seraphon,
when they show up, okay, I have no idea who they fight or who they're engaged with or whatever, because who even knows?
Skaven.
Okay. Yeah,
It's always
you got it.
Skaven.
You're right. It's Skaven, and the book is called. It's Skaven, and the book is called Thankful. Thank you.
Or it's cool, or they just go broader and it's the Horned Rat.
No, it's called Thankful. That's what it is.
Okay.
It's like, thank you. That is that product. Yes. It is called Thankful. It has Skaven and it has Seraphon in it. There you go.
Done. Boom. I like it.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, to me, I am still hopeful. I think you're probably right that it'll mean we get a minor change to 3rd edition. Please, for the love of all that is sacred in this world, to keep it as a minor change.
Yeah.
Okay? And let us actually keep these books. Like, I want to buy all of these Broken Realms books. If we get to the fact that we bought them all and then you change and the edition change is huge and I have to bin all of these, I am going to be very upset, as are many people in the community. Learn from what happened in 40K. Don't either A, don't do a new edition, or B, like, I'm actually hoping, Anthony, that the COVID situation and how it pushed back a bunch of AOS stuff actually pushes back 3.0 into 2021.
I'm fine with that.
Or sorry, into
sure.
2022.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Or again, I don't mind if they give it to us in 2021. Just like you're saying, don't blow up the whole thing. Like we're not at that point. We don't need that. And again, like you were saying, I'll buy all these books, and I don't think anybody complains where, I played Seraphon for years and now we have a new book. My old book is I don't care. I got years out of that book. It's fine. I needed new stuff, up to date, or cool, but don't invalidate a whole series of books 3 months later.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We did a great thing in 2019 getting all those wonderful battle tomes.
Yeah.
Right? It's okay to get more than 12 to 18 months out of a battle tome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
100%.
So,
and again, like you guys said on the show Wednesday night, also stop putting out stuff in White Dwarf to give us cool extra content, or make it legal for match play so that you can always take the de facto, and I don't mind the answer. Check with your TO, because it's fine on a lot of issues, but not on that issue. On that issue, either put it in the GHB or don't put it out at all.
Or just put it on the website and call it, and make a list of, like, these are the currently available things for tournament play. Right?
And that's perfectly fine also, but stop giving us cool stuff that we could actually want to use, and then take it away. I mean, I've been,
this game has a slow lead time. When somebody comes, when you decide to play an army, it could realistically be 6 months before you get a game in with that army for a lot of people, for a lot of players in the community, because they've got it. They don't have the money to go out and buy, $800 worth of models, or 600 or 500 or 400 or 300, however much you're spending on your army all at once. They buy them over time. They paint them over time. It takes a long time to paint. They get their army ready. So, like, the first time, if they're a new collector, they put that thing on the table, might be 6 months later.
Yep.
Right? So give them if a book only has a lifespan of 12 to 18 months, that's not enough time. Right?
Yeah. I mean, could one of these Broken Realms books unlock new Storm posts that where you actually have characters, and it's not just the host units, but you get the Aventus Fire Strike for the anvils. Like, they put that in the White Dwarf, and now that's 100% not usable, that character. Like, give it to me somewhere where it's usable. If this book sticks around, give it to me in one of these books.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is that we will absolutely, like, this will be the next Stormcast expansion. Will be one of these books. Right?
I'm in.
They could be the undercard in Gordorak, because we know, like, again, as we've talked about on the show multiple times, Gordorak smashing Excelsius, that kind of thing. So you could have that take place in here. Like, Broken Realms seems like a great story. Would be one of those would be Gordorak smashing apart Excelsius and destroying the city. Right?
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
good.
and then a new, like, then they have to open up the Ruination Chamber to respond.
Yep.
Which I want that Ruination Chamber, just because it's called the Ruination Chamber. And that's
Yeah, exactly right. I love the name. Give it to me, but give me some named characters for the other storm hosts, not just hammers.
100%. And I mean, they did say we'll see new models along with this as well. I suspect
Right.
most of those will be like a couple individual heroes, like they did for much of the Psychic Awakening thing, where you got like one hero, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Aegis Slaanesh said, my whole gaming group has quit 40k because of the Psychic Awakening and edition issues. I get it. That's my problem. That's like, it's a treadmill. I know that, and by the way, I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are like, yeah, I don't care. It's fine. It's just what it is. But that's going to happen to some people, and so don't put us on that treadmill, please.
Yeah. Yeah, we love spending our money. We will gladly throw tons of money at you. Just let us get a little value out of that first.
Yeah, let's get
before
some
you just
value out of that.
shit on it.
I'll keep buying the new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a suite of releases I am beyond excited for. Like, I'm just going to scroll back here, and let's look at this. Like, boom, new Mortal Slaanesh in Beastgrave. Fantastic. Couldn't be more excited. Wonderful, right? Awesome. Yes, A+. This Shadow and Pain thing, you know what? Depending on how good Marathi is, I might swing around and buy one of these boxes if it turns out snakes are that valid, because I don't have enough to do an all snake army. I have 25 snakes. I think I have 20 or 25 snakes. So, like, I maybe 10 more is good, right? If it's that awesome of what you do there. So, and obviously this guy is
Yeah. Give me the ball gag.
Yes, this guy is incredible. And then the Marathi book, like, this is a bunch of A+ stuff. I'm excited to get some version of all of these things, right? And I can't wait for what they see next. So, yes, my call for book 2 is either Nagash or Alariel, and then Nurgle is the undercard in either one of those.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And then eventually, by the way, you're going to see a book called Slaanesh. And that's that's when Slaanesh breaks out. When she finally breaks these chains of love. Okay? And then it's...
Or the Techless book comes in and locks her back up hardcore and never getting out.
Shut your face.
And never getting out. Big Brother's got to come save the day again.
Yeah, when Tyrion shows up and he's like, Techless, what have you done? You screwed it all up again. You moron.
Let me go borrow this sword that Marathi's hiding somewhere, and I'll fix this problem once and for all.
I'll fix it up again.
Yeah.
One can only hope that in Marathi, yes, I agree with Steph, who said better bow sneaks. They are so trash in their current state. I completely agreed.
Are they trash, though? Yes. That's a whole different show, but I think they're okay.
No, they're trash. They're super trash. Their average damage is like 1.5.
I mean...
That's not good, Anthony. That's real bad for a unit that costs more than 100 points.
Fair enough.
You need more than that. Like, I'm not asking for him to point, click, kill things and remove, an ironclad in one shot. But like 1.5 damage is not enough. That is.
I just laughed because I remember when they first did the reveal for them and someone saw the little bit of rules. And they were like, "Oh no, the new Skyfires! Oh god!"
Boy,
now it's like,
boy.
No, this never came to be.
This did not come to be. Yes, absolutely. Sure. Yes, Jonathan Kelly. I absolutely would if it meant I had that model now. 110%. Okay. So,
I just envisioned that in my head, and now I want it out. Oh my god, I want that out of my head.
No, absolutely. You must be willing to sacrifice for your Lord and Savior, Slaanesh.
So that is the next paint-a-sode when this comes out. It's just the camera, two cameras, split view, one on your hands painting the model, and one on your face just with a ball gag in the entire time you're painting this model.
Super fair. All right. So, a lot of great things coming for obviously iOS. I was excited. I wanted to see more. Like, I wish they would have gotten more into what's in this book. That was actually what kind of let me down. Like, I would love it if we just got, again, I'm not saying like flip page by page, but say like, here's a sample of a sub-faction or a battalion or like because at this point, I don't even know if that's going to be in there, right? Like, just a taste of what the concept would have been.
They left it open for now. They've got some content to put out on the weekly, reveal stuff that they like to put out little snippets of. Here's a excerpt of a rule or something you're going to see in the Marathi book later this year.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is when you put out a mystery box, which is what this Marathi book is, other than they've said, there's rules and narrative. Like, okay, cool, but that's not actually an answer. And when you put out a mystery box, when you J.J. Abrams this, okay, then we fill the box. We, the community, fill the box. You know what we fill the box with, Anthony?
Well, in your case, ball gags, whips, and all types of other things we can't talk about.
True, but also our hopes and dreams.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And we invest all of our hopes for what could be into the box that is this book, right?
Yep. And then we get so pissed when it's not.
Exactly. Like, this is the thing the Warhammer community team still messes up. You have to anchor the expectations first. Leaving a giant open box that we will pour every wish. Oh, what if this fixes Doc? All their sub-factions and all their command abilities, and gives them better artifacts and more choices, and fixes bow snakes and makes the regular snakes a viable army. And what if it fixes IDK to where the other ones are good? And it's not just eels, and turtles are awesome.
Yeah,
right? And we just, like, pour all of what we want into this book. Because at this point, could it contain that? Sure. Could it contain 5% of what I just said? Also, yes. Okay? So, like, I love you, Warhammer community team. I know you're all some of the nicest, best people. Like, the Warhammer community team is, in general, people who are so passionate and awesome and friendly and incredible people. And I love, like, I've got to hang out with them several times. I'm over there, and they're all amazing. But a piece of advice for you is anchoring. Like, don't just give us a mystery box, because you set people up for disappointment. Because they will put all their hopes and dreams into it. All you needed to do was say, like, this book will have these kinds of rules. And here's one sample thing of that. But there's a lot more. Great. Cool. I've been anchored. I know what to expect. I'm not expecting this to be like an entirely new Doc book. Right? But maybe it is. And that's the problem right now. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe this is exasperated by the fact of this is an online preview and not an actual preview show where we normally get a Q&A afterwards and we can ask some of those questions and they can lead us in a direction?
Definitely partially, because let me tell you what, that would have been my first series of questions. I would have been like, look, I would have literally put my hand up and said, look, we need anchoring here on, like, would have been the exact thing I've said. Hey, we need some anchoring here, because otherwise the book you just showed could be everything from a combined complete new tome, rewriting all of the rules for Doc and IDK, to a few new artifacts and a few new battle plans and a few new, and like a new unit.
Right.
That is too wide of a spectrum. What the heck is in this book? Give me something. Right? So, yes, absolutely, I would have asked that question in person.
Yeah. I think I would have stood up and said, who do I need to punch in the face to get my hands on that skink model right now? And gladly would have fought them. I'm sure someone would have pointed at, like, Tom and been like, kill that guy. Sorry, Tom. Love you, bro, but you have to die now.
You got to go down to get that chameleon skink. That's fair. That's totally fair. And he would go down, too. He's a very thin man. He's very weedy.
Yeah.
He'll just crumple. He's like the crumple zone on a car.
He's a glass man. Just push him over, he shatters.
Yeah. All right, Anthony. Well, let's minimize this out, bring you back up on screen here.
All right.
This has been awesome, man. Thank you for joining me for this. This was super fun.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. This is obviously good stuff. I am, as we've said, of course, very excited. I hope you are too.
Oh yeah.
One thing they didn't say is they're doing another preview show. Do you think, Anthony, they're going to do another preview show? They didn't say. They didn't formally announce it. I was surprised.
I was too. I thought that we would be getting a 2 or 3 part of this, and I think they are going to do another one because they said they have a lot more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're still going to see at least a part 2, if not a part 3. But I think they're going to give it 2 weeks in between, 3 weeks in between. You know,
I think they will do the other one over Labor Day weekend with what would have been Nova. So
it's true, Nova. Yeah.
We won't have one next weekend, but I think basically at the end of next week they'll announce that there's one going over what would have been the Nova weekend, and they'll reveal the other stuff they would have announced in that show.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I just love them. They can do more of them, and that's fine, as long as it's not going to be forever before we start seeing stuff again. It doesn't look like it. Some of the stuff they showed here was November, which seems like a long time away. It's right around the corner. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, well, we know the season 4 of Underworlds, like some of that stuff is December, and the Seraphon's probably next year because we know season 4 is still December. They did give us the roadmap for that, so.
Yeah, I mean, so it's great to see this stuff. We're in a good spot, for the game in general. If we could just get out and actually play together, that'd be the best thing. But I'm so excited for what's to come.
Yeah. Oh, somebody asked when is that? It's basically 2 weekends from now. So Labor Day is September 7th
4th.
this year.
I thought it was
a
the
Monday.
4th.
I think it's the 7th because the 4th is the Friday.
You're right. The 7th is the Monday. Okay. Yep.
So then it would make sense that 7th, 6th, 5th would be the next preview show. That's my guess. Only a guess.
Yep.
Who knows? We'll see. But there you go. Well, thank you all very much for watching. I hope we gave you some good, tantalizing previews in the future. I do think that they just easily set up like that. To me, the big thing is they set up where this story is going. When they did the Marathi book, when they did that thing, they said, okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to pop out Slaanesh eventually. We're going to do the mortal Slaanesh stuff. It's going to be Marathi's plan that sets everything off and puts it in motion. The Broken Realms is going to happen because other good guys find out that Marathi, was behind some of this shady stuff. And, they'll still be part of Order. It's not like they're going to get kicked out of Order, but there'll be a lot of, Broken Realm action where there's intra-Order fighting.
I like it.
There we go. All right. With that, thank you very much, Anthony. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Anytime.
Always a pleasure for you. For all of you out there watching, thank you so much. As always, the next time they do a reveal show, assuming there's anything good of AOS content, we'll be here, and we'll see you next time.